Hello everyone, welcome back to Time Out. This is Dee. It's really good to be back, and I hope you all had a very good Easter, by the way. So today we're going to be talking about gangstalking. It's a bit of a deep topic, so if you don't want to listen to anything too serious, this would be the time to click off. And it's also got a bit of spiritual connotations to it, so I might be referring to the Bible quite a bit. So for those who want to learn about gangstalking, this is a video for you. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Gracias. Okay, so today, all right, so let me explain gangstalking very quickly because this will be a bit of a long video. Okay, so to understand gangstalking, you have to understand Chinese whispers. And what's Chinese whispers? It's for every time, especially negative information is passed, people tend to add to it to make it more juicy and more interesting. Let me give an example. So somebody says Jane is getting a divorce, and the other person says, well, has she filed for a divorce already? Well, I'm sure she has. I mean, it's domestic violence. And the person says, okay. So the person sees another person that knows Jane and goes, Jane's getting a divorce. Did you hear that Jane's getting a divorce? Oh, has she filed already? I'm sure she has filed. You know, it's domestic violence. Why won't she file for a divorce? Keep in mind, the first person did not say she had actually filed. The person said she may be filing for a divorce. So, okay. So that third person passes on the message to someone else and says, oh, did you hear that Jane is going through domestic violence? She's filing for a divorce. Said, oh, has she done it already? Can't they work it out or whatever it is? And the person, she's like, I'm sure this is domestic violence we're talking about. In fact, they're already separated. I'm sure she can never go back to the guy. If you notice, they've started to add to it. You know, that's Chinese whispers. It means for every time information is passed on to the next person, people tend to add to it, especially negative information. With positive information, what we need to keep in mind is that people subtract from positive information. For instance, okay, somebody's got a promotion, a new car, a new house, a new this, a new that. What happens is that when people pass on that information, you know, somebody could just pass on it. Oh, did you hear she started it? Oh, things are going really great for her. Yeah, she got a new car and a house. A lot of stuff. You know? And most of the time what happens is that, you know, people tend not to acknowledge. I mean, they're happy for her, but they don't tend to acknowledge good gist like so much. But when it's negative, it spreads like wildfire. It spreads like wildfire. And that's the origin to gangstalking. However, the difference between Chinese whispers and gangstalking is that usually the information is based on a lie. That's the difference. And it's usually passed around by somebody very, very close. Now, say Jane, for instance, Jane Doe, she's doing really well and things are going great for her. And it could be an ex-partner, a bitter ex-partner, or a jealous friend, or a jealous colleague, or a jealous family member, or something, you know, that looks at her and thinks, well, she's doing better than me, she can't do better than me, I'm going to destroy her life. Keep in mind, anybody that wakes up in the morning thinking about how to drag the next person down or how to destroy the next man is evil. Not just evil, is mentally deranged. Because no normal person wakes up in the morning thinking about how to destroy another person's life. And this happens every day. I mean, you have to understand that not everybody walking around is human. Not everybody walking around has a soul. Some people are totally, completely soulless. Keep in mind, when God wants to bless you, what happens? He sends a person. When the negative wants to destroy you, what do? They send a person. So, if it's from the negative, you're sending somebody that has no soul, no heart and no soul. Because if they are meant to destroy you, they can't feel bad for you. That's the difference. Now, not everybody experiences gangstalking. So let me break it down. The sort of people that experiences gangstalking, if you're somebody with a really good heart towards people, you will experience gangstalking. If you're somebody that will liberate like thousands of people, that will help them, make them success stories, pray for them, or whatever it is. Say like a spiritual teacher, like like a spiritual teacher, like a religious teacher or religious figure or something. You likely may experience gang stalking depending on where you are, or you may have experienced it in the past. Well, maybe not if you're lucky. If you're the sort of person that when you hold out your hand, you're not looking to take from others, you're looking to lift people up, you will likely experience gang stalking. Because you see, you are going to be helping so many people, and your destiny is already formed for you, and the negative does not want you to achieve that. So they program people in your life even before you were born. This is deep. It's actually a lot deeper than you think. Let's go back to the Bible. When Jesus was born, what happened? The wise men, astrologers, or whatever it is, they had seen it in the stars that somebody that had a destiny, that had a purpose, was born. And what did the king do? He instructed that every male child be killed, just so that Jesus Christ will not grow up long enough to achieve his purpose. And then even when he escaped that and did grow up, what happened? People lied on him. They betrayed him. They backstabbed him. What did he do to them? Absolutely nothing. Why do you think he experienced that? Because he had a purpose. He had a mission. He was sent here, put on earth, for a reason. So there are people like that. People that their destinies are tied to other people. People that are going to liberate other people. People that have good heart towards people. Which means when people are in trouble, they're there. They want to be there for people. They want to help. Those are people put on earth to liberate so many other people, to help them, to be there for them, to heal them emotionally, physically, mentally. They will want you to achieve that. So it's a lot deeper than you think. Judas probably didn't know he was going to be used, but he was used. He felt so bad about it that he actually committed suicide. Gang stalking is deep. I lost somebody to this like a few years back. The whole point of gang stalking is to destroy somebody so much that if you're not a strong person, you feel there's no other way than to either take your life or something. Let me give you a classic experience of gang stalking. When I was in high school, at this point I was about maybe 14, 15. I don't remember, it was a while ago. I don't remember the exact age, but yeah, I was quite young. And see, in my school, it was a boarding school, right? And you know how boarding schools are. Like sometimes, like the food even in the dining hall is so minging, like literally disgusting. Do you understand? So a lot of students had guardians, right? So and you know how things are, like there are different types of guardians. So like you're the upscale fancy person if your guardian is like a house mistress, but you're like a lower person if your guardian is like a matron or something. So so anyway, so I had this group of friends, like this group of I had my clique, my group of friends, and we all had our guardians. Our guardians were like house mistresses and the principal or something, but I had this other group of friends. Like for me, as long as we get along, that's what I care about, right? So I had this other group of friends, and so anyway, their guardian was a matron. However, they didn't even have to eat the dining hall food. That was completely disgusting. So they would always go back to this to their guardian's place and eat all sorts of fancy things and everything, and they would tell me all about it. So every time I would say to them, yeah, can I go with you guys, let me go with you guys, blah blah blah. So they would say I went with them, and it was so nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's really frowned upon. I mean, it's against the school rules that you eat outside of the school premises, so it's really done undercover. So so I used to go with them then. I didn't realize that my own clique didn't like it, but it wasn't about them, it was about me. I was just having fun. I was a kid. So anyway, so there was this day I went with them and I saw the matron's son, and he had like a Walkman. And you see, these things are contraband in school. They're not allowed on the school premises. So I mean, I'm a music person. I love music. Do you understand? And being in boarding school, obviously contraband and everything, I don't get to listen to as much music. So I saw this boy listening to a Walkman. So I asked, oh please, can I listen to it? And he gave it to me. And it was all the music, like the kind of music I liked, like, you know. And so I was listening to it and I was like, okay, well, we have to go. It's already time to be back for prep, back in school, right, on the school premises. So I said to him, please, if I could just take your Walkman for today, and I promise I'll return it tomorrow. And he says okay. So I took it with me, and I was kind of like listening to it in class with my head down, because it's not allowed on school premises. It's actually contraband. I woke up the next morning and the story had changed. I was like 15. I was a virgin. But what had started going round was like that I was dating the matron's son, so he gave me his Walkman. That was strange. Within a few hours, Chinese whispers, it had gone round, and by noon or midday, the story had become that I was actually even pregnant for this person. The whole school, the entire school turned against me over lies. I was a virgin. I was a kid. My offense was bringing Walkman onto school premises. But my friends felt like, well, if you're not with us, you're against us. If you can be moving with another clique. So they spin the story on me. But the story went round and got out of hand. So I was almost expelled. My parents were sent for. But you see, one thing that got me going, because really and truly, it was like walking through a furnace of fire. Because every time I was walking, people came up, people screamed. The shame, the embarrassment of doing absolutely nothing. So the principal sent for me, and I was almost expelled. And the principal said to me, well, you did this, you did that. And I said, yes, I did offend. I know that. Because I brought a Walkman onto school premises. But pregnant, dating, I'm a virgin. If you don't believe me, you can do any test you want. She looked at me for about 5 minutes without saying a word. And then she said to me, I believe you. That one person saved my life. Because at that point, I was so confused. I didn't understand what was going on. I mean, I was so disorientated, like, I don't even know. This thing I'm being accused of, I know nothing. It's so totally against who I am. So I held on to my truth. And this went on for so long, for months of walking through fire of lies. That's gangstalking. So this person would tell this person, and everybody would laugh, everybody would point fingers. When I was walking to class, everybody would come out of their classes and scream and say stuff. And the worst part was, I could even deal with it. The poor boy, his offense was giving me his Walkman. And this boy, whenever he walked, people threw stones at him. For nothing. Over lies. So I've experienced gangstalking a few times in the past, because I know better now. Anyway, anybody that can watch somebody go through turmoil and feel okay about it just to make themselves feel good is demonic. And the whole point of gang stalking is to terrorize, demoralize the victim so much that they feel the only option they have is probably to take their own lives. That's not a joke. It's not something you joke about. That's evil. What manner of jealousy, of anger will make somebody lie, demoralize, castigate, cast a smear campaign upon another person for nothing, just because you feel he or she left you, so you're bitter? He or she is doing better than you. Who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? He thinks he has more money. I'm going to deal with him. I'm going to destroy his entire life. So let's dig a little deeper, because gang stalking goes a lot deeper than that. Let's take the victim and the accuser. Usually, if you're to analyze them both, the victim, what the victim is being accused of, is usually the complete opposite of their character and their person. Now let's look at the accuser. Usually what happens is that the person that starts up the fire, the accuser, is, when you look into their lives, you would realize that everything they are accusing the victim of is who they are. Funny story. Every single thing they are accusing the victim of is exactly who they are. So if you're a woman and they're saying, oh, she's a hoe, she follows all sorts of men, she does this, she does that, believe you me, if you do your investigations right, the accuser is that. And so this is very spiritual, because what they're doing is that so they're taking this person. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's pure. Nobody's 100% pure. So everybody does things, you know. But usually, people that do things like this jealous, vindictive, evil, wicked people, because they do it under the radar, so they believe that nobody knows what they do. But you see, they also suffer from the guilt and shame and of their behaviors, because trust me, they do the most down low, dirty, nasty things, but they feel shame and guilt sometimes. So what they do is remove that cloth of reproach, that cloth of shame, that cloth of dirt, and place it onto the victim and walk away scot-free. Because what happens with gang stalking is that they are removing the attention from themselves and placing it on the victim. So everything that they are, everything they are ashamed of, everything they have done that is evil and treacherous and bad, they place it onto the victim. That, you know, that's the victim's character. Now, like Cinderella's stepsister, the shoe doesn't fit. So people that hear this, I mean, not everybody wants to hear negative gist about you and just run off and tell other people. Yeah, some people are not like that, you know. But the thing is, especially when they are dealing with somebody that information is so out of their character, these people can go to any length. They can actually go diabolical, just to prove that whatever it is they're saying is actually true. So if somebody is accusing a victim of, oh, she's so lazy, all she does is follow men for money, all she does is all she does is negative things, blah 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 blah, what they do is start to throw magic, spells, negative, evil works. They start to destroy your business or your work. They try to get you fired at work. They try to, just so that whatever it is they're saying about you can match whatever it is you're going through. So this person, the victim, have had to suffer all sorts of attacks, with their business going down or losing their jobs or one thing or the other, and they'll say, you see, That's exactly, she can't keep a job. She can't keep a job. All she knows how to do is follow men. They will do it intentionally to that person, you know. Now, when somebody holds a gun to your head, trust me, that person loves you a lot more than somebody that uses warfare of words against you, because words are very powerful. Words was used to create the world, the entire universe. God spoke it and it happened. It was created. Words can be used to destroy completely. What is spiritual warfare? It's the warfare of the mind. Gangstalking is the highest form of spiritual warfare. It's the war of words. And these people normally, because what happens is that they've been programmed in your life to bring you down so that you will not achieve that purpose. So most of the time, these are people that, and they're not enemies. You can't even hate them. They're not enemies. Because you see, the way I see life, everybody is a teacher. They're there to teach you a lesson about yourself, about life. That's the truth. But you see, the enemy selects people that are broken, people that are that maybe have experienced some sort of trauma and they haven't healed from it. So they're looking to inflict that pain on other people. Or just straight up demons. Yeah, sometimes not everybody walking around has a soul. Not everybody is normal. And when they are soulless, they are empty. So when you're empty, they leave themselves open to negative forces using them. So you have to be very careful who's in your circle or who you give access into your life. It can be very dangerous. So these people are broken. Hurt people hurt other people. Hurt people hurt people. That's the truth. So they've been through so much pain or some sort of trauma in their childhood that they haven't healed from, and they need to inflict that pain on other people. So they program these people in your life because they are jealous and nasty and treacherous and evil. So they know that for as long as every time the victim tries to move forward, these people are programmed, are there at certain points in their lives to pull them down. That is the whole point of gangstalking. It's not just about the rumor, it's not just about the gist. Keep in mind, again, let's look at the Bible. A spiritual teacher highlighted something about a few weeks ago and said, most of the time when you look at important people in the Bible, they would say, like a Jesus of Nazareth. They would mention the person's name and the place. Abraham of whatever it is, you know. So most of the time when they mention important people, they usually tie to a place. Now, what does gangstalking do? Because these people have important destinies, they have important things to do here on earth, you know. They're there to help people, they're there to uplift people, they're there to do something important. They're placed here for a reason. Their heart is pure towards other people, towards mankind, you know. So it's easy for God to use them, you know. So somebody is praying and somebody just comes to bless them. God used that person because they have a good heart. So it's easier for them to be open to positive forces to use them. The same way, it's easy for soulless, empty people to be open for negative forces to use them against you. So what happens is that the victim now, your name and your place, that's what they take away from you. What does the accusations do? So they've spread, imagine a room full of about 100 people, and this one person is in the middle, not even knowing what's going on. Just realizing that people don't want to talk to them anymore, people don't want to associate with them anymore, people that are supposed to give them jobs don't want to give them anymore. Maybe if it's female, a man that is looking to marry her, other people say don't marry that one. Oh, she's a hoe, oh my god, don't do it. If it's a man, women will say, oh, don't marry him, oh my god, he's a ritualist, are you joking? Do you want to die? Are you serious? Lies. So they've destroyed the name. Now, people that would give you a place in the society, an opportunity, help, assistance, they don't want to associate anymore. So they're taking your place away from you. So a nameless person that has no place is a nobody. So when you were born, God's intention was to make you somebody. But the enemy will turn it around and take that from you. So without a name or a place, you're nobody. Which means whatever purpose you've been put here to achieve, you cannot achieve it anymore. That is the point of gangstalking. But you see, what's funny is that whatever it is the devil meant for evil, God will turn it around for your good. And why do I say that? So gangstalking is supposed to disorientate. It's supposed to make the person so overwhelmed that they think the only option they have in life is probably to even take their own lives or something, so that they can never get to that place where they're supposed to get to. Now, on the other hand, God allows it to build so that you can use it to build your character. If I hadn't gone through certain things, I'll be very selfish. Yeah, very selfish. I know that. If I hadn't gone through certain things, I wouldn't understand what it is, what it feels like for people to be in pain. If I hadn't gone through certain things, I wouldn't have grown up. Because yes, I did as a child maybe have a few privileges, yes. So I never would have learnt about life. So that which the enemy meant for evil was used to build up my strength and character. Let's go to the Bible again. So let's look at Jacob and Isaac. When Isaac was old, he wanted to bless Esau, Jacob's brother, right? And Jacob was very selfish. Now keep in mind, God loves Jacob. Oh, God loves Jacob. God loves Isaac. So in turn, he loves Jacob. But Jacob was selfish. The first time his brother came to meet him for food, he asked for his birthright. Like, oh, sign over your birthright to me and then I'll give you food. What's the comparison in a plate of food and your birthright? It doesn't even make any sense. Then, when his father was about to bless him, his mother convinced him and said, no, you go and take your brother's blessings instead. So Joseph did. And before I go further with the story, I'm going to say this one thing. That if you are a victim of gangstalking, please, whatever you do not retaliate. Because whatever it is you think you can do, how many people do you want to argue with? How many people do you want to tell that that's not your character? You can't. So what you do is hold on to your truth and don't retaliate, because whatever it is you think you can do to them, God has more creative ways to actually deal with them. So let them get their karma. Whatever it is you sow, you reap. So when they do that to you, they will receive their karma. Back to my story. So, did I say Jacob or Joseph? Sorry, I meant Jacob. If I've been saying Joseph, I don't remember. Sorry. So anyway, so Jacob, Jacob took his brother's blessings, and his mother told him, okay, well, flee to, and his father as well, well, go to your mother's brother's place, Laban, and when you get to Laban's place, blah, 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 you can stay there for a while so your brother can calm down, because his brother at that point was so upset, he wanted to kill him. And that was supposed to be his own revenge. And this is why I say do not revenge. Hear me out. Don't retaliate. Don't take any revenge. Hold on to your truth and pray. Pray. So Jacob went to Laban. And then he saw Rachel. And he loved Rachel. And then he went to Rachel's father. Rachel was Laban's daughter. So he told Laban that, oh, please, I really want to marry Rachel. What can I do? I will serve you, blah, blah, blah. And Laban said, serve me 7 years and work for me 7 years and you can have Rachel, which is fine. Okay, so he worked 7 years. And what happened? He was cheated and given Leah instead. He didn't love Leah, but he had to marry her. So he said, oh, I've been cheated, blah, 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 blah. Is Rachel I want? And Laban said, work for me another 7 years. That's 14 years for cheating his brother twice. The exact same thing he did to his brother. In a day, he paid for it for 14 years. Your enemies will pay. I assure you. Don't do anything. Just pray. Pray about it. If you're a victim of gang stalking, it's time to pray. Pray it up. Hand it over to God. There's nothing you can do about it. And your name and your place will be restored. However, you will keep going through the same mistakes until you learn that lesson. The lesson you're supposed to learn from it, until you learn it, you will keep going through that mistake, through that scenario. So anyway, back to Jacob. So he worked another 7 years, making 14, right? And then instead of being sent off, he goes, okay, so at least I can't go after 14 years with nothing. So let me still work, and just for a bit, and then I can go back to my father's land. And he worked for another 6 years. His wages was changed 20 times. So every time it looks like he was doing well, Laban will change it again. Every time. So he paid for his sin for 20 years. They will pay. They will pay. So how do you learn your lesson? You raise your vibrations. Not everybody that talks to you, smiles with you, hangs around you is your friend. You know, the ones that will destroy you are the ones you have most fun with. You have fun with them. They're there for a reason. They get along with you. They finish your sentences. You like the same things. You enjoy the same things. That's why, because the whole point is for you to relax. The whole point is for you to let down your guard so they can have access to you, into your life. That's the whole point. So they're the best, they're the closest of people, the best of friends. That's why the betrayal is always so deep, because if it's done by an outsider or someone that is not very close, it's not so bad. But when it's done by the people you trust the most, it takes a while to take off all those knives from your back. So you pray and you raise your vibrations. People with lower vibrations, gossip, evil people, constantly talking about other people, constantly looking for how to drag other people down, constantly jealous of other people, constantly envious of other people, constantly doing stuff, constantly talking about low vibrations. You should run. Stay away from people with low vibrations, because they are open to be used by negative forces against you. Raise your vibrations and pay attention, because trust me, when people see you leveling up and raising your vibrations, some people will try to pretend to meet you at that stage. Classic case. A friend of mine, like an older friend, so I spent a bit of time with her, and we went out and took some pictures, which was a man, so my friend had said to him, oh yeah, she has this channel, blah blah blah, on YouTube that she does something, so he must have watched it. And then he came to me, and he didn't come to me, he sent me, so my friend was like, oh, my friend is disturbing me, something, let me introduce you guys. And I'm like, after a while I was like, okay, yeah, fine, do introductions or whatever it is. And so he started chatting with me, and the first thing, so it's like, how are you? Oh, we bless God. Something, oh, we thank God. And in my mind I'm thinking, look at this dude, like, are you for real? I talk about God because of my personal experiences, but he thought he needed to pretend and come to me in the Christian way. Obviously he was pretending. If I had opened up my doors and given him access, then I would have seen his true colors. So what I'm trying to say is, if you know that this is resonating with you, you have to pay attention. And you have to test people's spirit. You can't be around low vibrations. It's a slippery slope to being, to be betrayed or to be worked against. So anyway, I'll end the video here now. And do remember, the mental health is the new wealth. So you can read up on gangstalking or do your research on it as well. And please be careful out there. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely week. I love you all. Gracias. Stay blessed. Namaste.